Why is she lying about this? Why? Why can't she just say, I'm so grateful to those producers who helped make me look amazing night after night and gave me my start in acting? Because it's more important to her to be a victim.
Why did an American actress turned Duchess end up name-checked in a classified memo that wasn't supposed to leave a locked cabinet? 6 years ago, she walked through St. George's Chapel to a gospel choir and global applause. Today, whispers from Westminster to Washington hint at burner phones, data spikes, and a surveillance file stamped Subject M. Some call it the Crown's last stand. Others swear it's the price of free speech. Whatever the truth, the stakes now stretch far beyond talk show drama.
I guess just speaking to Meghan about what's expected from the interview, Meghan said they weren't paid for the interview. The first, I guess, bombshell that came out of it was, if you cast your mind back to the royal wedding a few years ago, there was a headline that came out of it a few months later saying that Meghan had made Princess Kate cry.
Tonight, we follow the money, the leaks, and the silence to see how a fairy tale flipped into a geopolitical chess match. But the first crack appeared long before anyone logged into a royal server. Barely 9 months after that sun-splashed wedding, lawyers replaced confetti. Meghan sued a major tabloid for printing a private letter to her father, and the palace watched a duchess take a newspaper to court while wearing its crest on her stationery. Few noticed at the time, but inside corridors, aides said the lawsuit reset the clock from honeymoon to high alert. That reset turned nuclear.
I don't know, it was quite an extraordinary story. I think they were trying to do the similarities between a Princess Diana car chase, making the public feel sorry for them, but in the end, like everybody found out, it was a lie.
When a 2023 letter she wrote to King Charles about unconscious bias leaked in full, reigniting racial flashpoints the monarchy thought it had outrun. Courtiers insisted the leak was sabotage. Sussex allies whispered it was self-defense. Either way, the divide was now in the open, and it only widened from there. Yet a lawsuit and a leaked letter were just warm-ups. Some breakups end in heartbreak. This one snowballed into spreadsheets. But the next headline didn't arrive from London courts, it crashed through Silicon Valley servers. In late 2020, Spotify threw $20 million at archetypes, betting a royal podcast could outstream murder mysteries. Instead, 12 episodes trickled out across 2 years.
Meghan Markle targeted Prince Harry. She wanted to be a star. She rejected a couple of other British guys who weren't powerful enough. Then she was rejected by a bunch of them. How embarrassing for Prince Harry to have been the one who fell for it.
When the platform finally cut its losses in June 2023, a senior executive vented on his own mic, calling Harry and Meghan grifters. The quote rocketed up trending lists faster than any episode they'd actually produced. Behind closed Zoom screens, Spotify accountants chalked up the write-off. Online, critics framed it as proof that the Sussex brand was more sizzle than steak. Meghan, never one to lick wounds in public, spun forward. By March 2025, she unveiled an indie reboot. No corporate gatekeeper, just a handheld mic and a promise to spotlight female founders set on rewriting the rules.
And I wasn't just being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves.
Fans praised the pivot. Skeptics called it Plan B. Either way, the podcast drama left a hairline fracture in her credibility, and Hollywood agents could smell blood in the water. If Spotify thought 12 episodes were thin, Netflix soon worried about 12 months without a breakout. The $100 million Netflix pact looked invincible after the record-setting Harry and Meghan doc. But by mid-2024, insiders leaked that budgets were tightening and that the streamer wanted substance, not scandals.
But it became very clear very quickly that that goal was not up for discussion or debate. It was terrifying to have my brother scream and shout at me and my father say things that just simply weren't true, and my grandmother, quietly sit there and sort of take it all in.
Enter rumor number one. Netflix had slipped a divorce clause into a renegotiated deal, guaranteeing first rights to interview either spouse if the marriage implodes. Hollywood gasped, Royal Watch Twitter short-circuited. Insiders also whispered that 2 senior aides in Montecito were let go after pitches stalled in development hell, tabloids labeled her Duchess Difficult Los Angeles edition, while Meghan told friends palace loyalists were poisoning the well before she even opened the deck. The truth sat somewhere in the gap, but Netflix's patience was no longer endless, and every news story made the next pitch meeting colder. Yet, while Hollywood cooled, Washington warmed. One coast threatened her contract. The other dangled a ballot box. Paid leave legislation rarely lights up celebrity feeds, but Meghan's 2021 open letter to Congress did, and the phones haven't stopped buzzing since.
He did make it cool, and then all of that went away and he became very whiny, and he went the way of what we call modern psychotherapy, where therapists sit across from you and tell you that every little thing that ever happened to you makes you a special victim, and no matter how horrendous you act, once you receive that status of victimhood, everyone must understand.
Lobbying disclosures now show Archewell paying consultants tied to heavyweight political campaigns, and at least 2 senators admitted the Duchess rang their private lines. Pundits asked the nuclear question: could a Duchess bound by royal etiquette ever serve an elected office? Constitutional scholars pulled out dusty volumes, cable news booked competing experts, Buckingham courtiers clenched jaws in polite horror. One aide privately admitted, if Wallis Simpson sent tremors, a Senator Sussex would be an earthquake. Whether Meghan aims for the Hill or simply wants legislative wins on her resume, the optics alone keep the headline machine humming. But outside Capitol corridors, a darker drama was inching toward a tipping point. Security is invisible, until someone files a lawsuit demanding it.
If you are a watcher of the royal family and you like secrets, you might want to sit down because this is a doozy. Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H. What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
May 2023. Harry, Meghan, and her mother claim paparazzi chased them across Manhattan in what could have mirrored the tragedy that claimed Diana. Police later called the pursuit reckless, but short-lived. For Harry, it was Exhibit A in a larger fight: his appeal to restore UK police protection. A London judge shut that appeal down in early 2024, leaving the Duke footing legal bills, reportedly topping $700,000. Inside Montecito, insiders say the rejection stung more than losing a reality deal. If the crown wouldn't shield his family on British soil, who would? Private security firms flocked, invoices soared, and rumor whispered that Meghan's new bodyguards traced back to former intelligence contractors. Muscle more common around tech CEOs than former royals. Protection once symbolized prestige. Now it symbolized exile. But money can buy bodyguards, not loyalty. And loyalty was about to crumble in an email inbox. One staffer's silence cracked, and the palace rumor mill went from simmer to boil. The palace's internal bullying probe never issued a public verdict. But in March 2025, 3 former aides leaked 30-plus email threads to a freelancer. Timestamps showed messages at 4:17 a.m., 4:22 a.m., 4:35 a.m., each with escalating demands. One line read, "Why hasn't comms killed that headline yet?" Another, "Find me the legal angle. I don't pay for apologies." British tabloids feasted. Sussex loyalists screamed character assassination. But the real bombshell landed days later.
The same theme of every single one of her podcasts and of her life. Find successful, empowered women, reduce them to their lowest moments, and then claim to have taught a lesson about how terrible and especially sexist America is.
Internal Slack logs allegedly linked a Montecito IP to target architecture mapping of royal charity event routes. The leak was too technical for morning shows, yet perfect fodder for conspiracy channels. Hashtags about shadow operations exploded again, implying a wider digital web, one that might interest entirely different alphabets. MI6, FBI, Five Eyes. Those initials turned gossip into a possible national security headline. If the Spotify saga was expensive and the Netflix chill embarrassing, what came next threatened to be criminal. Court filings in March 2024 confirmed Meghan had been the target, not the perpetrator, of phone hacks in 2016, back when her royal romance was still a secret. Conspiracy channels hijacked the paperwork, claiming it proved the FBI had eyes on her now, not then. Days later, a YouTube commentator brandished what he called a leaked task force memo, alleging that login attempts into Princess Charlotte's school files traced back to a staffer once on Meghan's payroll. No intelligence agency confirmed, but silence fed the beast. Threads drew arrows between Berlin IP hops, WhatsApp deletes, and hushed stops at cybersecurity consultancies. A pundit on Evening News summed up the mood. When MI6 opens a curiosity file, it's troubling. When the FBI CCs itself, it's historic. The line went viral, mainly because no one could prove whether it was true or totally fabricated. In a 24-hour news cycle, that distinction matters less than who hits upload first. Whether the dossier exists or not, its shadow changed the battlefield. Meghan's critics rallied around the idea of a Duchess playing four-dimensional chess with children's safety. Loyalists denounced it as the nastiest smear yet.
Playing the victim card, and this is a very woke thing. This is the victim that they like to always become the victim to gain sympathy.
The Crown, true to form, said absolutely nothing, and the silence was deafening. With press, politics, and now supposed spies in the mix, only one arena was left: the institution itself. By spring 2025, Kate Middleton's early childhood campaign had become the monarchy's PR anchor, drawing headlines that didn't mention Netflix or lawsuits. Yet, even feel-good panels couldn't smother talk of an unprofitable Sussex brand. A royal expert claimed Hollywood execs now dismissed the couple as boring returns. Meanwhile, King Charles's aides met Harry's team for secret peace talks in London, an overture many hoped might cauterize the rift. But hours after that meeting, social media sleuths spotted Meghan boarding an SUV flanked by new bodyguards, faces hidden behind mirrored shades. Every gesture fed a fresh theory: reconciliation, separation, political pivot, total retreat. When commentators asked which ending looked most likely, a veteran palace reporter sighed. Pick your genre: soap, thriller, biopic. This story reloads the script every season. And that's both Meghan's superpower and her curse. The narrative never needs fact to outrun speculation, only silence long enough for someone to fill the gap. So, does the Duchess pivot into politics, armed with polling data and paid leave talking points? Does she throttle back, letting Hollywood cash drip while the Crown weathers its own storms? Or does an unseen third plot twist wait in the drafts folder of someone's encrypted inbox? What we do know is simple. Every leaked memo, every midnight Slack ping, every non-statement statement keeps the cycle spinning. When rumor becomes algorithm and silence sounds like strategy, the next headline is only ever one refresh away.